Zippy the Pinhead is a fictional character who is the protagonist of Zippy, an American comic strip created by Bill Griffith. The character of Zippy the Pinhead initially appeared in underground publications during the 1970s. The Zippy comic is distributed by King Features Syndicate to more than 100 newspapers, and Griffith self-syndicates strips to college newspapers and alternative weeklies. Origin: Zippy made his first appearance in Real Pulp Comics #1 in March 1971. The strip began in the Berkeley Barb in 1976 and was syndicated nationally soon after, originally as a weekly strip. In a 2008 interview with Alex Duaban, Griffith recalled how it all began. "I first saw the 1932 Todd Browning film Freaks in 1963 at a screening at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, where I was attending art school. I was fascinated by the pinheads in the introductory scene and asked the projectionist if he could slow down the film so I could hear what they were saying better. He did, and I loved the poetic, random dialogue. Little did I know that Zippy was being planted in my fevered brain." Later, in San Francisco in 1970, I was asked to contribute a few pages to Real Pulp Comics #1, edited by cartoonist Roger Brand. His only guideline was to say, "Maybe do some kind of love story, but with really weird people." I never imagined I'd still be putting words into Zippy's fast-moving mouth some 38 years later. When William Randolph Hearst III took over the San Francisco Examiner in 1985, he offered Griffith an opportunity to do Zippy as a daily strip. Several months later it was picked up for worldwide daily distribution by King Features Syndicate in 1986. The Sunday Zippy debuted in 1990. When the San Francisco Chronicle cancelled Zippy briefly in 2002, the newspaper received thousands of letters of protest, including one from Robert Crumb, who called Zippy by far the very best daily comic strip that exists in America. The Chronicle quickly restored the strip but dropped it again in 2004, leading to more protests as well as grateful letters from non-fans. The strip has developed a cult following and continues to be syndicated in many newspapers, often ranking at near the bottom of reader polls. The strip is unique among syndicated multi-panel dailies for its characteristics of literary nonsense, including a near absence of either straightforward gags or continuous narrative, and for its unusually intricate artwork, which is reminiscent of the style of Griffith's 1970s underground comics. Characters and story. Zippy's original appearance was partly inspired by the microcephalic Schlitzie from the film Freaks, which was enjoying something of a cult revival at the time, and P.T. Barnum's sideshow performer Zippy the Pinhead, who may not have been a microcephalic but was nevertheless billed as one. However, Zippy is distinctive not so much for his skull shape, or for any identifiable form of brain damage, but for his enthusiasm for philosophical non-sequiturs, verbal free association, and the pursuit of popular culture ephemera. His wholehearted devotion to random artifacts satirizes the excesses of consumerism. Zippy's unpredictable behavior sometimes causes severe difficulty for others, but never for himself. Zippy almost always wears a yellow muumuu's clown suit with large red polka dots, and puffy, white clown shoes. Other forms of attire may be seen when appropriate to the context, e.g. a toga. He is married to a nearly identical pinhead named Zerbina, has two children, Fuel Rod and Meltdown, both apparently in their early teens, and owns a cat named Dingy. His parents, Ebb and Flo, live in Florida. He has 4 close friends: Claude Funston, a hapless working man; Griffey, a stand-in for Bill Griffith, who often appears in the strip to complain about various aspects of modern life, shelf life; a fast-talking schemer always looking for the next big thing; and Vizzy Nerney, a 20-something lounge singer who, despite her rebellious image, has an optimistic and sympathetic nature. A humanoid toad, Mr. Toad, who embodies blind greed and selfishness, appears occasionally, as do the Toadettes, a group of mindless and interchangeable amphibians, who pop up here and there; and the Stupidity Patrol, described by Bill Griffith as cruising the streets of L.A., correcting the behavior of insensitive louts. Griffith has never committed himself to a set origin story. No fewer than 5 have appeared. A strange visitor from another planet, a pinhead who wandered away from the circus, an android whose inventor didn't live to see its imperfections, the secret identity of a jaded heir to a fortune who decided to apply Zen to everyday life, and a college student who inexplicably turned into a pinhead. Griffith also never committed himself to any set time period, a home location for Zippy. Zippy's angst-ridden twin brother Lippy also frequently appears. He is portrayed as Zippy's total opposite, are often dressed in a conservative suit, thinking sequentially and avoiding his brother's penchant for non-sequiturs. In a daily strip dated the 8th of March 2005, he is depicted as being deeply moved by the poetry of Leonard Cohen, the landscape paintings of Maxfield Parrish and the music of John Tesh. Zippy's favorite foods are taco sauce and ding-dongs. In his daily strip incarnation, Zippy spends much of his time traveling and commenting on interesting places. Recent strips focus on his fascination with roadside icons featuring giant beings. Zippy also frequently participates in his long-running conversation with the giant fiberglass doggy mascot of San Francisco's Doggy Diner chain. The website encourages people to send photos of interesting places for Zippy to visit in the strip. In 2007, Griffith began to focus his daily strip on the fictional city of Dingburg, Maryland, Zippy's birthplace, which, according to the cartoonist, is located 17 miles west of Baltimore. Griffith said, "Over the years, I began to expand Zippy's circle of friends beyond my usual cast of characters to a wider world of people like Zippy, other pinheads. I kept this up for a few months, happily adding more and more MUU-clad men and women, until one day the whole thing just reached critical mass. The thought then occurred, where do all these friends of Zippy live? Do they live in the real world which Zippy has been seen escaping for years, or do they live apart, in a pinhead world of their own?" Thus Dingburg, the city inhabited entirely by pinheads, was born. It even had a motto: "Going too far is half the pleasure of not getting anywhere." The logical next step was to imagine Dingburg streets and neighborhoods, to create a place where Zippy's wacky rules would be the norm and everyone would play 24-hour skee-ball and worship at the feet of the giant muffler man. Zippy had, at last, found his hometown. His most famous quotation, "Are we having fun yet?" appears in Bartlett's familiar quotations and became a catchphrase. At the 2003 University of Florida Conference on Comics and Graphic Novels, Griffith recalled the phone call from Bartlett's. "When Bartlett's approached me in, I forget what year, 5 or 6 years ago, I got a call from the editor, and he was going to give me credit for the 'Are we having fun yet?' saying it, but he wanted to know exactly where Zippy had first said it. I did some research, and I eventually found the strip Back to Pinhead, The Punks and the Monks from Now Number 2 in 1979. That's the first time he said, 'Are we having fun yet?' Certainly not intended by me to be anything more than another non-sequitur coming out of Zippy's mind. Zippy's signature expression of surprise is, 'Thou?' Appearances elsewhere. Following rumors of a Zippy movie project, Griffith devoted dozens of strips to his real and imagined dealings with Hollywood. An animated television series, to be produced by Film Roman and co-written by Diane Newman, was in negotiations from 1996 to 2001. On July 9, 2004, Zippy made his stage debut in San Francisco in Fun, the concept at the Dark Room Theatre. Bill Griffith approved of the adaptation, though he did not work on the project. Fun, the concept was adapted by Denzel J. Mayers with Jim Forniades. A collection of about 1,000 Zippy quotes was formally packaged and distributed with the Emacs text editor. Some installations of the A Fortune command, available on most Unix-type systems, also contain this collection. This gives Zippy a very wide audience, since most Emacs users can have the random Zippy quote printed on the screen by typing mxyow, and most Linux or BSD users can get a random quote by typing A Fortune Zippy in a shell. However, as a result of a decision by Richard Stallman prompted by FSF lawyer Eben Moglen, motivated by copyright concerns, these quotes were erased in new Emacs 22. Zippy under Emacs now will only say "yow." Legally imposed culture reduction is cabbage-brained. Zippy can be restored by replacing the yow file with one from an older Emacs. After Griffith criticized Scott Adams's comic Dilbert, Adams responded on May 18, 1998, with a comic strip called Zippy the Pinhead, cramming as much artwork in as possible so no one will notice there's only one joke. It's on the reader. Dilbert notes that the strip is nothing but a clown with a small head who says random things, and Dogbert responds that he is maintaining his artistic integrity by creating a comic that no one will enjoy. Books. Zippy Stories. Berkeley and Orc 1981. ISBN 0-915904-586. San Francisco, Last Gasp, 1986. ISBN 0-86719-325-5. Nation of Pinheads. Berkeley and Orc 1982. ISBN 0-915904-713. Reprinted. San Francisco, Last Gasp, 1987. ISBN 0-86719-365-4. Zippy Strips 1979–1982. Pointed Behavior. San Francisco, Last Gasp, 1984. ISBN 0-86719-315-8. Zippy Strips 1983–1984. Are we having fun yet? Zippy the Pinhead's 29-day guide to random activities and arbitrary donuts. New York, Dutton, 1985. ISBN 0-525-48184-2. Reprinted. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 1994. ISBN 1-56097-149-5. Pindemonium. San Francisco, Last Gasp, 1986. ISBN 0-86719-348-4. Zippy Strips 1985–1986. Kingpin. New Zippy Strips. New York, Dutton, 1987. ISBN 0-525-48330-6. Zippy Strips 1986–7. Pinhead's Progress. More Zippy Strips. New York, Dutton, 1989. ISBN 0-525-48468-X. Zippy Strips 1987–8. From A to Zippy, Getting There Is All the Fun. New York, Penguin Books, 1991. ISBN 0-14-014988-0. Zippy Strips 1988–90. Zippy's House of Fun, 54 Months of Sundays, Seattle, Fantagraphics, 1995. ISBN 1-56097-162-2. Zippy and Beyond. A Pinhead's Progress. Comic strips, stories, travel sketches and animation material. San Francisco Cartoon Art Museum, 1997. Zippy Quarterly. No ISBN identification for these publications. Zippy Annual. A millennial melange of microcephalic malapropisms and metaphysical music. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2000. ISBN 1-56097-351-X. Zippy Annual 2001. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2001. ISBN 1-56097-472-9. Zippy Annual 2002. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2002. ISBN 1-56097-5059. Zippy Annual 2003. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2003. ISBN 1-56097-563-6. Zippy, From Here to Absurdity. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2004. ISBN 1-56097-618-7. Type Z Personality. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2005. ISBN 1-56097-698-5. Connect the Polka Dots. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2006. ISBN 978-1-56097-777-3. Walk a Mile in Mayhem UUMUU. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2007. ISBN 978-1-56097-8770. Welcome to Dingberg. Seattle, Fantagraphics, 2008. ISBN 978-1-56097-9630. Ding Dong Daddy from Dingberg, Seattle.